Hello, hey, can you all hear me now? I apologize. Hopefully other people. I just noticed my microphone's on mute. My microphone has a mute button on the line, and sometimes as I move, I pressed it. I apologize. Golly, I hope it wasn't uh, muted the entire time. Oh, I'm glad you can hear me now. Well, I'll check the recording and find out when it stopped. Um, Getting back to the issue, previous charges of embezzlement. So I put that there. Moving on, I just want to wrap things up because I know I've got to end on time. Where was it? Okay, the other thing that struck me, and this is again good investigative journalism. He was wow, the embezzlement was $100,000. Um, what happened was that as you're digging up and finding more about him, that this is really more about the investigation if you are the investigating for embezzlement, not necessarily the investigation if he's potentially in danger. But recently, this guy buys a cabin, a new car, and a boat. Um, so, I think that would certainly be a red flag if I'm investigating the embezzlement, but it's a separate issue about in the fact that he bought these items. One thing I'll say, just, it just hit me. He's got like this, I've noticed this with criminals, there's this arrogance about like not being caught. How could you be writing checks to yourself, not paying the taxes for your client? You know it's going to come back. I mean, I'm not justifying stealing, like if you steal a little money from the petty cash drawer, I mean, that's wrong, but there's a way of, getting away with it. If someone says, oh, here's a check for the IRS and you don't give it to the IRS, you're going to be caught. And then he's doing these crazy things like buying all this stuff. What I'm talking about is this level of not just arrogance, but recklessness, and that's what scares me. When I start seeing people being reckless, if someone's stealing and they're trying to get away with it, then there's a sense they're rational. That it's wrong, but it's rational. Let me think. I just popped into my head another case where this guy was flashing children in a neighborhood. This is my old neighborhood, and this man was flashing, naked. You know what I mean, to little kids. You can imagine because I have a daughter, and all my friends, I have tons of her friends, all the daughters. So all the dads are ready to kill this guy. But what terrified me of that was the guy, when they caught him, was in the neighborhood and he was driving his car. So if the guy had any plans to get away or he was being really careful. It's bad. There's no doubt about that. But the recklessness that he was doing this in his own neighborhood and driving around with his own car, to me, was a much scarier situation because it demonstrates he doesn't care. This sort of almost leads to like sort of suicidal, fatalistic behavior that now they are really, quote unquote, off the hook, and that was dangerous. People trying to get away with the crime, it's bad, but then you have a sense that they're not going to do something that's drastic. And the fact that this guy's willing to risk being caught and golly, you just being caught, he can only pray that he got caught by the police and not by one of the dads or moms, showed that he was truly dangerous because then, what's he willing possibly can do with the children? So again, when I look at this, the fact that he's doing this crazy stuff about stealing so blatantly and then spending the money so blatantly, it's this recklessness. And I think I'm going to just reckless, put that in there, stealing blatantly and spending like crazy. I want to put that as not a suicidal ideation, but this fatalistic, like everything's just coming to an end, and it just doesn't matter. And I put that under status, and that's just my 2 votes right there. So let me see if there are any other factors. I'm trying to recall new allegations. Oh, okay, one thing, and this is a mitigating thing, and this is really the sad thing. So let's say if I'm doing the assessment, I really want to get to know this guy. And so I go around, I'm talking to people, kind of like, Detective Columbo and, having coffee here and there. The bizarre thing was how well liked this guy was. So now that it's come out that pretty much everyone thinks that he killed his boss, one thing that's occurring, let me see if there's image, that the other businesses in the area are hanging wreaths, Christmas wreaths, in his honor. And David's not the victims, but in the suspected assailant. Supposedly this guy personally made wreaths and he gave them to people. So he loved Christmas, and I used to do this too, like make wreaths like out of greenery, and then he would give it to businesses. In addition, he always hosted the after hours Chamber of Commerce holiday party. So this is not some, you think of this, Marilyn Manson, did I say Marilyn Manson? Charles Manson kind of weirdo who's holed up in his cave and throws rocks and feces at people going by. Yeah, I'd be concerned about this, kind of individual. But here's a guy who gives away Christmas wreaths, who hosts the annual community Christmas party. And then the fact that so many people have, this is of course after the fact, but so many people put up wreaths on their Facebook pages in honor of him. I imagine if I walked around and asked about, hey, this Andy guy, this Andy Brown guy, what do you think of? Is he dangerous? This is a really key factor that so many people are in shock and sadness. I have to say I've watched interviews with people in the community, and they all express sadness, not just sadness for the death of the victim, but sadness for the person who did this. And so in some ways I'm going to put this as a really outside, as a relationship factor. This is an important thing that he was, excuse me, I just need to find a short word. I'm going to say nice, that neighbors, it sounds like a small community, liked him. And so he hosted parties. He gave away Christmas wreaths. Excuse me, I spelled wreaths wrong probably. You know what I mean. Wreaths, I hate spelling in public. Wreaths. Oh, it's because there's an R there. All right. And I'm just going to switch out of here so you don't have to look at that. But that's a really important factor. So again, I came in here October 1st. Wow, stealing, potential issues, personal problems. Is he really a danger? No. The thing that really pops up to me is that a gun was missing. The other factor, though, is I got to put it out there. If they asked me, is this guy dangerous? If I talk to all those people saying, no, he's a great guy. And there are like these serial type killers who, are super friendly and everyone loves them and they think they're great guys, and then they have this secret life. Obviously, this guy did have a secret life because he was stealing so much money and buying so much stuff with his stolen money. But I'd have a hard time with this. So just as we wrap things up, we've got about 5 minutes to go. I think that was most of the factors. Let's look at this. And by the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chart and I'm going to blow it up. So I'll probably have some sort of expand button, and then we'll have just one big image looking at this chart. What do we got going on? Certainly acting recklessly. He's being potentially charged, and that's a very big deal as an accountant being charged with. I have no idea how he got away with the previous incidents of so he has no record, but then I didn't create maybe that's where I put in there with the stealing of the previous when he was treasurer for the Parks Foundation. Is he scum? Yeah. If I could be judgmental that way. But is he dangerous? I don't know. I mean, a gun turns up missing. If we happen to know that he stole it, then I would certainly raise that a lot higher. But it's hindsight's 20/20. Of course, we could say yes, he would do this. But any comments, folks? I really would love to hear what anyone else says. I'm just babbling now. What's going on? Would you, if you were a security consultant brought into this picture, would you say, yeah, you've got to hire guards and carry a gun on you? Folks, I don't think I would. I'd warrant further investigations. Maybe we could say, I would certainly suggest that they fire him, but, and then maybe during that firing, we can look at putting up security, but no threats. The meeting, he didn't blame anyone. Everyone reported was such a nice person. Any thoughts? So I guess the point is, like, if they brought me as a consultant and I said, no, he's not a risk, then the next day he commits this murder, then I certainly failed on my job. This actually points to the really important part that that, threat assessment is not foolproof, that there is no guarantee. And by the way, it might have been that if I was really doing this threat assessment, I'm doing a lot more digging. This is my point about the media reports. We're only given this information. In a real threat assessment, you might have gathered further information that would have clearly indicated his propensity for violence. So just given the data that we got, finally, before we wrap things up, I just want to mention a real important issue that I meant to say earlier. There's two things going on here. There is an investigation on him as an employee for embezzlement. So if I was the HR manager and the owner and the office manager and we're discussing what are we going to do with Andy, there's two parallel investigations going on. There's the embezzlement allegations, which relates to his disciplinary meetings. Like, are we going to put some discipline in or just outright fire him? And that's of course vital. It's important to the organization. It's their job, right? There's a other investigation of the threat assessment, and I want to be real clear, and if you are all involved with threat assessments, you have to understand those are two separate processes and two separate goals. So often it's the same meeting, it's the same people, same data, but they're really two different questions going on, and you have to be careful of allowing those two goals to interfere with each other. They absolutely are interrelated, because when you fire him, then that's going to have implications on his risk as well. But I just want to put that out there, that the way things are conducted sometimes, the way the meetings are being done, and the way legal and employee relations would be looking at it, they are going to be influencing and having an impact on that threat assessment situation. So maybe there's value in having separate meetings. So let's have this meeting right now with these people regarding his employment and the embezzlement charges. Meeting over, now let's talk about the risk of the issues. That's one way of looking at it, but I maybe I'm beating a dead horse into the ground. Please understand those dual issues. Folks, hey, we're right at the top of the hour. I just want to thank you. I really appreciate your input. Again, sorry about the muted button. I've got to get my phone fixed, or my thing to stop automatically muting folks. But just wanted to thank you for joining us. How about real quick, I'll just show you, this is brought to you by the ePanic button and the threat assessment tool. So 2 points. If you want this threat assessment tool for yourself and you want to try it out, I'd be glad to give it to you as a trial to try out. The other thing that we have going on is the ePanic button, and this is just a duress alarm program where you could click an icon on your desktop, or you could have corresponding hotkeys, and we have hardware buttons as well, but those are optionals. And if you do any of those three things, we have pop-up alerts, we have text messages and emails that go out. So it's a panic button. But the main thing that I want to emphasize is that the panic button is entirely customizable. So you can have 12 buttons, you can have one. The support button, I often suggest, and this is sort of our default settings, the support button is for low-level concerns, like I've got a creepy guy here in the office, while security might be more serious, like you have a restraining order against someone and they show up, and that you hit security. But you could create like get me the coffee button, or your meeting is here, or in some places they create medical alert buttons. If you press it, then you get this pop-up. It has an audible alarm. Let me move my mic. Boom, you can hear that. And then this pops up on anyone's workstation that you want to let them know, hey, we have a security issue sent by Johnny over on the balcony, and it's a great little tool. I don't want to go over it too much here because I need to move on, but, oh, great, okay. Gladly, I'll send you. I see a note. Someone's interested in that threat assessment tool. No worries. I will send it off to you and create a little tool. And then I think you've seen me use it, but I've got instructional videos. You know me, I know you, so we'll talk if I can help you, but I'll send that to you right after this meeting. Folks, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I'm going to wrap stuff up here because I've got a lot going on. Oh, hey, Veterans Day weekend. I want to, of course, honor any veterans out there and say thank you for your service, and that I hope that everyone has a real nice long weekend. I hope you have Monday off. Okay, take care, everyone. Stay really good, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.